I want to say it's less than 6% of black women make over $100,000 a year. The average black woman makes like 38,000. Most of y'all are below the poverty line when you include the bastard kids. All right? These women are not bossed up. They are propped up. They are being propped up by the government. Ain't nobody bossed up. The government, Uncle Sam keeps y'all afloat.
That misconception that sisters were the most educated and successful has been debunked. Shout out to Medium Man. You guys were the most enrolled and you warped that data. You were the most enrolled, so y'all automatically tried to transfer that over to being the most educated. I seen y'all my college, my freshman year. Y'all, these sisters were dropping out the first semester of their freshman year in droves. Yes, just the most enrolled. They did nothing with it. Shout out to KS, underwater basket weaving degrees at best.
Yeah, you're gonna say women have bossed up. That's why we don't need men anymore. That is so far from the damn truth, and it's irresponsible to even say when there are stats and data that will prove that to be a damn lie from the pits of hell.
These terroristic marching orders, when will they stop?
For some women to have a money requirement if you truly want a partnership. Now, if you are a woman that's like, this is my standard, and either I get that or nothing and I'm okay, I respect that. I respect that because I'm not here to say to you, you better date a man that makes less. If you have decided that I live a certain way, this is how I want to move, and if I don't get a man that makes that amount of money, that wants to date me back and have a partnership, I'm cool. And that is your business. But if you are a woman and having a man and having a partnership is very important to you, I would say do not have money at the top of the list and just date. Just date. I think that that's how women can get the power back when it comes to dating, because I argue all the time about the woman being...
No, it ain't. Just date with no parameters. You are telling both of these women are poor and broke. Just date. This is how you end up having bastard kids. This is how we end up with 60% of these women being single moms and 70% of the kids being raised in single households. Because just date and get hunched.
Says the woman that says she don't give dating advice. Says the woman that says I don't give dating advice. I just give data. You just told these sisters to date if they and don't prioritize money. See, it's always a freaking extreme. I believe that some sisters, a large group of sisters, can do both. You can. I'm married to one. You can do both. You just have to prioritize, and you sure as heck can't put your career before your man. But Kendra, you cannot deliver that healed message because you are hurt. You see that? Yeah, but you ain't supposed to be giving advice, Miss Data Deliverer.
The prize. But now I have to say, that particular man that every woman wants, I think he will be considered the prize to a lot of women because you're chasing him and you only want him. Now, if you stood and recognized who you are is amazing and anybody that gets a chance to link in your life is a lucky somebody, then you would date with that confidence and you would just date. Okay, I'm not saying date a bum on the street, he ain't got no job, he alcoholic. I'm not saying that, but there are quality guys with good characteristics who might not just make 100K. Okay, so if you start at the money and then you do the characteristic second, yes, you're gonna have a smaller pool, but that's a decision that only you can make for yourself. Next question. Okay, does the rating scale matter to men 1 through 10? So I was recently asked this question on the Shade Room because Stephen A. Smith did a conversation and he said that men should focus on a 7 opposed to a 9 or a 10. I'm gonna play the clip and then I'm gonna give my response.
All the men, there's no man alive that would disagree with what I'm about to say. You want a strong 7.
And we done been here before. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward it. But the more ironic thing here, people, you got Kendra G up here doing reaction videos. Kendra, why are you reacting to people's content? Why ain't you up here being original? Huh? Kendra, you notice you are on YouTube doing a reaction to somebody's content. Kendra, oh man.
Better make sure you check that fair use policy, Kendra.
And she act like it's so low brow. That's her thing. Like she's above this. Kendra, this will be what you're gonna be doing mostly.
I love it. I love when justice prevails. She once boo-booed on those lowly podcasters, especially you reaction channels. Well, what do we have here? Kendra, before you start doing reaction channels, you just make sure that you got written permission from Crew Tractor and Trey Taylor.
That part. So she's doing a reaction to this old video. Kendra, at least get something more current. Stephen A. First of all, Stephen A. and dating. Stephen A. need to be talking about basketball and football. We don't want to hear his dating advice.
That part there.
Huh.
There's a seven fellas.
I think when men are settling down with women, the scale of 1 to 10, no, I'm going to be honest. I think men chooses a 1. Let me break down what I mean when I say a 1. A 1 is one of one. A man settles down with a woman that he feels as though has this one-on-one factor that she has over every other 8 billion women that are on this planet. I don't know. It could be the mother to his children. It could be the woman that knew him before he was successful. It could be the woman that gave him a place to stay until he got on his feet. I don't really know what that I don't know what that wow factor is that he sees in her, but he sees it in her. And there's people that might say his wife is not attractive, or what does he see in her, and they're outside looking in, judging their marriage, but they got it. And they're happy. And I feel as though when men settle down, they settle down with the girl they feel is one of one. She has something unique that no other woman has. And that is only can be determined by that guy. And I think that when we go into these scales, there's so many ways to challenge it because, I'm not going to name names because I'm not a mean-spirited woman, but there's women who may not be considered even a 7 married to millionaires. Like, it just is. So that's a grace. I feel like looks matter when you have a presentation. So, and I want to say here because I don't want this to get misconstrued. I'm not saying don't put your best foot forward.
No, y'all are saying, y'all got this whole thing mixed up. This is why you women are so superficial out here putting wigs on your head, makeup and lashes, BBLs and boob jobs and Botox. No, men, she gonna say most of these women just marry regular women. That's because y'all spend so much time focusing on the superficial instead of doing the work within and being a good person, being a submissive woman, being a wife. Being a wife does not come with a wig and an eyelash included.
Amen. Shout out to the Clips. They done made their comeback this year. Too dope. I like to say observe successful relationships out here. I try not to hang on celebrities, but look at those brothers, the Clips, and look at their wives. And see, and I say, we need to see what woman fits the archetype of a wife. How do they present? Seriously. And BBLs and eyelashes ain't it. I don't care, even for more rough around the